Hey, what's up, guys? John here. Florida is the biggest real estate bubble in America, and the aftermath is going to be unlike anything that people could even understand, even comprehend, or even imagine. It's going to be way worse than 2007 and 2008. And this isn't my opinion. This is what the data suggests. I'm going to walk you through exactly what's going on behind the scenes that you're not going to hear about anywhere else. And I believe you're going to come to the same conclusion I am, that Florida is in very, very, very big trouble. It has nothing to do with the 225,000 people that have moved to Florida over the last couple of years, fleeing states like California and New York, looking for a place that's going to be more pro-freedom, no income tax, a better lifestyle, just every day, just a better place to spend time. That is not the reason, not at all the reason. We're looking at this. So first, it's the 33% price appreciation we've seen in Florida for the last year. People would say that's the reason. You know, what comes up, what must come down. It's deeper than this. It's not the 78% price appreciation we've seen in Florida over the last 5 years. Meaning that if you were to buy a property in Florida 5 years ago for $100,000, which you couldn't have, but for easy math, it would be worth $178,000. Now, to put that into context, traditional home appreciation is about 3% per year. Meaning, in the last year in Florida, we've seen 15 years worth of home appreciation. In the last 5 years, we've seen 25 years worth of appreciation. Is this the reason? Is this the reason that we're going to see a collapse in pricing? No, it's not. This is the reason. We have a whopping 1.6 million vacant homes. 1.6 million vacant homes in the state of Florida. And people will say, well, who owns these vacant homes? Is it retirees? Yes. Is it wealthy people that have secondary homes and that just come during, high season, during the winter time in, New York? They'll come from, let's say, late December, and they'll stay until just before, the hot season in June, July, and then they leave. It could be, but this is the big outcome of this. All of these vacant homes equates to 17.3% in vacancy rate. 17.13% vacancy rate. That means that of every 100 homes in the state of Florida, 17 are sitting with no one in them. And we're seeing this at a time in which Miami rents have appreciated 50% over the last 18 months. Tampa rents have appreciated 30%. We're seeing this massive increase in rents. And the big question is, when this economy starts to really head south with rising interest rates, continuing inflation, increased utility bills, and this insurance crisis, what are people going to do? They are either going to list their properties for sale or they're going to rent them out, both of which are going to have a profound impact on the real estate market. And what do you know? Just last 5 days ago, inventory in Florida has jumped 20%. 20%. So over the last year or so, inventory has been very, very scarce. People are just overpaying to get into a property. But now more people are listing their homes for sale. And the big question is, how does this all play out over the next 6 months, the next 12 months? Here's what I think. So right now, there's 21.22 million residents in Florida. 21.22. Households, 9,562,000. I'm just verifying their information. Comes out to 17.5% of all homes are vacant, right? Well, a new homeowner insurance company just announced a plan to leave Florida. This is not the first, case. We're seeing so many cases where insurance companies are saying, you know what, we're leaving Florida. It's no longer profitable. We're exiting the state. And so as this happens, what then is the net result? The net result is that there's less insurance companies available and there's more demand for insurance, meaning prices are going to go up. Very similar to the real estate market. When there's limited supply and there's high demand, prices follow. The same is going to be true for insurance. So everyday property owners that own property here that purchase are getting a surprise very frequently. This isn't, this is not like a one-off. A lot of people are going through this right now. Will 2022 bring the collapse of Florida's homeowner insurance market? And to put this into context, 400,000 homeowners have been dropped from their insurance in the beginning of 2022. 275,000 homeowners had to find a new insurance carrier because their companies went insolvent, unable to pay their debts. So whopping 675,000 people lost insurance so far this year. So out of all the 9.562 million households, it's about 8, almost 9 out of every 100 people in Florida homeowners have lost their insurance coverage so far. And so what are they going to do? These property owners, they have two options. One, they pay off their property. They have no mortgage, all cash. They self-insure, meaning if a tornado or a flood or something happens, they come out of pocket and they fix it themselves. Or two is that they list their properties for sale and find any insurance that they possibly can, regardless of price, and just pay. That, I think, is what is going to happen. People are either going to list their properties for sale, they're going to pay any price in which they have to, or they're going to pay off their properties entirely, right? And so this is going to be a very, very big problem, I believe, in this market. And so when we look at this 1.6 million properties that are sitting vacant, the big question is, when will these properties begin to hit the market? I believe we're already starting to see the beginning of it with inventory jumping 20%. But what I wonder more than anything is Jerome Powell's next move as he increases interest rates. Rates right now, 30-year fixed rate, if you have great credit, you might be 6%. 12 months ago, you were probably 3% on a 30-year fixed. Property owners, retirees, people that are, not spending, the full year in Florida are probably looking at their property saying, hey, we saw 78% property appreciation in the last 5 years. Does it make sense for us to cash out? Should we just sell it and take our risk off the table? I think we're going to start to see a lot more people say, yes. This is a huge, huge sum, 1.6 million homes. Even if 10% say yes, that's still 160,000 properties that are coming on the market, right? The big question that I really am looking at, though, is the speculation across the multifamily real estate market that we've seen that has really just pulled a lot of investors in from all these expensive places like California and New York, because they're used to buying properties and getting a 4% or 5% or a 6% return on their properties because prices are very high in those states and those locations. And so when they come to Florida and they say, hey, I can get 5% or a 6% return here, and I can be more in line with my lifestyle, I can pay no income tax, I can move my company here, and I can really just reap all the benefits Florida has to offer, you're going to start to see all these people, we've seen this, jump into Florida to buy these properties, fixing them up, trying to increase rents or do whatever they have to do. And then ultimately what happens? We start to see more inventory hit the market. I believe we could see more inventory fighting to secure a tenant, meaning supply and demand. And what ultimately happens there, rents will fall. And so if these landlords are looking at their situation as insurance prices are going up, property taxes are going up, and rents are going down, it's a disaster for landlords. So I believe Florida is positioning itself as being one of the biggest bubbles, self-induced bubbles, by the way. With this insurance situation, these insurance providers are making this situation so much worse. But what do you think? Where do you see this whole situation going? Well, a place like Los Angeles, a place like New York, it's different. Florida was not the place to be 5 years ago. Now Florida is the place to be. I think there's still going to be some markets that are going to perform extremely well. West Palm Beach, along the water, that's probably going to be fine. Trophy properties, because you cannot replicate their locations again. These trophy properties are likely always going to do well, right? It's a status symbol. It's almost like having your own bank. And the reason being is because you borrow, let's say 80%, and you put 20% down on a $20 million property, you're borrowing that money at 3% or 4%. It's going to far outpace inflation, and they're going to have that tax deduction. They're going to be able to reap all the benefits of owning property in Florida. It's different. In Miami, in certain areas of Miami, along the water, these areas are going to be different. It's going to be the everyday property owner, the median price. I think that's going to be impacted inside, inland Florida. That's going to really have a trickle-down effect into, the 99%. What do you think about this entire situation? Where do you see Florida's real estate market going? Do you believe this as, a concern? 1.6 million vacant homes, increased insurance costs, increased utility bills, increased, scarcity amongst everyday Americans, wondering what happens next. We need to take risk off the table. We need to bring money in because we don't know where this goes next. We want to make sure we have cash reserves. Or do you think, this is going to be no big issue and we're probably just going to move along? But this price action we've seen, 78% of the last 5 years, 33% of last year, very reminiscent of 2007, 2008, except I think this time things are different in a very, very big way. What do you think? Drop below, hit the like button, subscribe here, and subscribe to my second channel. It's going to be an interactive call-in show and podcast. I already have 4 guests confirmed, so it's going to be really, really worth your time. So be sure to go subscribe over there, and LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok up in the banner. And it's going to be a call-in show every Monday. I'm going to have a phone number that's going to be, active. People can call in and talk to me directly. We'll talk about the economy, real estate, business, where you see things going, where I see things going, and all things money. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. If you're interested in being sponsored on my YouTube channel, visit cashnow.video/sponsor and fill out the application.